There is a conversation happening at the highest levels of global financial power. It's not in any headline. They are not going to show it to you. But Ray Dalio, the man who predicted the 2008 collapse while everyone else was sleeping, already had it. And what he said after silently changed the way the wealthiest people on the planet move their money. Today you are going to hear it. Today you are going to understand why your brain is programmed to lose money in times of crisis, and the 3 psychological moves that separate those who prosper from those who barely survive. Stay with me. What you are about to hear is going to change the way you see every dollar in your pocket. And if this kind of content makes you think, consider subscribing. There is a lot more of this coming. In early 2026, Ray Dalio said something that shook the financial markets. He said, and I quote, "We are on the edge of the precipice. We are facing a period of great disorder in which a monetary collapse of the system could occur." Now, what does that mean for you? Before your mind starts to panic, and it will, because that is what the human brain does, you need to understand something about the psychology of financial fear. Studies show that when we face financial uncertainty, our brain activates what psychologists call scarcity thinking, a mental state where the mind narrows, loses the ability to reason long-term, and can only see what is directly in front of it. It is like trying to solve a complex problem while someone is screaming in your ear. Most people shut down. The mind stops thinking forward and starts reacting to survive. And survival mode brings something even more dangerous: rushed decisions. Decisions made in seconds that take years to recover from. And in finance, those rushed decisions are almost always the most expensive ones you will ever make. And that difference is exactly what separates those who lose everything in a crisis from those who turn it into their greatest opportunity. There is a psychological phenomenon called the status quo bias. It means that human beings prefer to do nothing, even when doing nothing hurts us, because change creates uncertainty, and uncertainty hurts more than actual loss. A study from Princeton University found that emotional well-being does rise with money, but only up to a point. After that point, what money buys is no longer real wealth. It buys the illusion of security, and that illusion is exactly what is at stake right now. Gold rose 65% in 2025, outperforming the 18% return of the S&P 500. To understand the magnitude of that, the S&P 500 is the index of the 500 most powerful companies in the United States: Apple, Google, Amazon, and gold, a metal that has been buried in the earth for centuries, outperformed all of them. That means every $10,000 invested in gold at the beginning of 2025 became $16,500 by the end of the year. Meanwhile, whoever had that money in a bank account barely kept up with inflation. That is not luck. That is not coincidence. That is a signal. And do you know what most people did while that was happening? Nothing. They saw the numbers, they felt the fear, and they froze. That is the status quo bias in action. The wealthy, on the other hand, have a different psychological mechanism. It is not that they are braver. It is that they have trained their brain to see chaos as information, not as a threat. Now let's get to the real prediction. What the data shows today. According to experts gathered at the World Economic Forum in Davos 2026, the monetary world is experiencing 3 simultaneous shifts. First, the consolidation of an economically multipolar world. Second, the complete digitalization of money. Third, the massive adoption of artificial intelligence in finance. What that means in simple terms: the money we know, paper, the traditional banking system, is being replaced, not all at once, silently. The financial system is being rebuilt from the inside. Instant transfers via digital currencies are replacing settlement systems that have existed for decades. And here is the part that matters most to you. Central banks around the world are moving capital toward gold as an alternative reserve currency. Why? Because the current demand for dollars is not enough to satisfy the supply, which depreciates its value every year that passes. When central banks flee the dollar, the answer most people look for is a list of investments, a magic asset, a quick tip. But those who truly prosper in moments like this know something very few people understand. The most important battle does not happen in the markets. It happens in your head. There is a psychological pattern that repeats itself in every major economic crisis in history. Those who lose are those who react with emotion. Those who win are those who have a plan when everyone else is guessing. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful emperor of Rome, wrote something in his Meditations that today sounds like an investment manual. It is not things that disturb men, but their opinions about things. Money is not good or bad. It is neutral. What turns it into a tool or a trap is your psychological relationship with it. And that is the key to everything I have told you today. The people who are going to benefit from what is happening with the dollar are not the ones with the most money right now. They are the ones with the greatest mental clarity about what is happening. 3 moves that those who prosper in crisis share. First, they do not react to fear. They study it. When the market falls, they do not sell in panic. They ask, what are central banks buying? Where is real capital moving? The information exists. You just have to know where to look. Second, they diversify their mindset before they diversify their portfolio. You cannot make intelligent financial decisions with a brain in scarcity mode. Emotional control, mental discipline, stoic thinking, these are not abstract philosophy. They are competitive advantage. Third, they understand that real wealth is not in paper. It is in the asset. The ultimate purpose of money is freedom. Freedom from constant worry, from debt, from pressure. When your finances support your life instead of controlling it, that is when you achieve true wealth. Now, if you want to go deeper into everything I have talked about today, Ray Dalio does not just warn about the system. He also teaches how to navigate it. He has 2 books I consider essential right now. The first is called Principles, where he explains the mental system that led him to build the largest investment fund in the world. The second is called Principles for Dealing with the Changing World Order, and it is practically the manual for what is happening in the financial world today. Both links are in the description. Most people will never pick up these books, and that gap in knowledge is exactly where opportunity lives. You already took the first step by being here. We are living in the most interesting and most dangerous moment in modern monetary history. You have 2 options. You can ignore what is happening and let your brain in scarcity mode make the decisions for you. Or you can do what those who change their financial destiny have always done. Understand the system, understand your mind, and act while everyone else is sleeping. The collapse of the dollar is not a theory. It is a process that has already begun. The question is not whether it is going to affect you. The question is, which side are you going to be on? Because when this all plays out, and it will, the people who understood what was happening will look back at this moment as the turning point, the moment everything changed, and the moment they chose to change with it. If this video made you think differently about your money, then it did exactly what it was supposed to do. If you don't want to miss what comes next, subscribe now. Turn on the bell, because what comes after this is going to be even harder to ignore.